Welcome to the Clean Slate with your hosts, Daniel Garza and Carson Phillips, providing you with movie news, reviews, and more. Sit back, relax, and don't forget to go to the concessions to get your popcorn and drinks. For your entertainment, this is the Clean Slate Podcast.
Welcome back to the Clean Slate Podcast. I'm Carson Phillips. That's Daniel Garza. And today we can't hear, see, or speak. I don't like that intro at all. But we watched Tommy, the musical. This comes from the band The Who. Who are they? What are they? Anyways.
We don't know.
Daniel, read that long line.
All right, here we go. A psychosomatically blind, deaf, and mute boy becomes a master pinball player and subsequently the figurehead of a cult. Subsequently.
One thing leads to another. Next thing you know, you're in charge of a cult. This is why I've been trying to get really good at pinball. I'm trying to get my followers up.
It's just a quick jump. A hop, skip, and a jump away from being a cult leader.
Even with that description, the cult part is like the last 30 minutes of the movie.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And then the rest of it is just like, what the heck am I watching? But
yeah,
I'll try to explain a little bit more for you guys. This movie is super trippy, psychedelic, you might say. So if you've smoked a lot of that wacky tobacco, you'll probably understand the plot better than we do. But basically, the movie follows young Tommy, whose father went off to war. We don't know which war. I'm assuming like World War II or something.
Vietnam. Or I guess this does take place in this.
Yeah, I don't know.
In the 60s or?
Okay, they probably tell us and we just missed it. But but his father is presumed dead, and Tommy's introduced to his mom's new boyfriend and is like, hey, this is basically your dad now. But one night, turns out his dad was not dead. He came home, and his mom and her new lover end up killing him. And because of this, Tommy ends up going into some kind of psychological state where he can no longer hear, see, or speak. And as the movie goes on, I don't want to spoil too much. I'll kind of paint with a broad stroke here. Is basically they take him to like different cult leaders or like snake oil kind of people to try to figure him out. And obviously none of that. Yeah, and then none of that works. They also drop him off at like his creepy molester uncle's house. And it's really bad for him. But something clicks and he gets really good at pinball out of nowhere, and it changes his family's life and I guess his own and the world's. Yeah, it's very interesting plot for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, this movie is stacked with a lot of different people that jumped onto this. So we got Roger Daltrey, who is the lead singer of The Who. We got Ann-Margret, Elton John, who is probably one of my favorite older time artists. We got Jack Nicholson, Eric Clapton, and then none other than the Queen herself, Tina Turner.
I was like, the Queen? The Queen's not in this.
No, Tina Turner. So guys, it's just like, it's pretty crazy. And the movie is crazy itself. So let's get into our likes and dislikes.
Yeah, I mean, my likes and dislikes are almost the same things at the same time. But I do have a funny story. My mom watched this movie apparently as a kid. My grandpa and my grandma took them and her sisters to go watch this in theaters, and they ended up leaving the movie theater before the movie ended.
Wow.
Because they're like, what the crap is this? So I'm like, I wonder what scene it was. You think it was the beans?
No, it's got to be way before that. It's probably got to, like, even the uncle scene or just even the...
That's true. If you make it to the beans, maybe you're in deep.
Yeah, if you make it to the beans, you're there for the long haul. Like, I think the first needles situation is where it gets really weird, where I was like, what is going on?
The uncle scene really took me out. Like, that really disturbed me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, not to be taken lightly, the set piece is really cool. Like, the lighting.
Super sick. Yeah, it's amazing.
But the actual thing is just so weird. Okay, cool. So any other likes for you?
Yeah, other than my mom leaving the movie theater. I think our lead actor's performance is actually pretty great, even though it's weird. Because it has like this energy that almost feels like, this is someone who's been blind, deaf, and mute their whole life.
Yeah.
And then also, I think just all the like Elton John showing up. We talked about this earlier, where his
so cool
performance is super cool. He has these crazy boots on that is just like the most Elton John crap ever. Apparently, he asked to keep them if he did the scene. So
really,
he might still have those, which is it's just kind of cool. And then I guess the director Ken Russell's approach to this movie is so bizarre and unique that a movie like this couldn't get made today. And the fact that this was financially successful is just kind of mind-boggling. Like, I mean, I know The Who was a big band, but like, I just can't imagine anyone else pulling this off now. I mean,
was it successful though?
Yeah, it made its money back for sure.
Oh wait, never mind. Okay, so this movie had a budget of $5 million, gross worldwide $34 million. So crazy,
crazy.
Yeah,
and then I guess in general, if you've never seen a rock opera, or is that something that's kind of new to you, I feel like this is just a great example of that genre. Like, it's just trippy. All these psychedelic themes and stuff are just really interesting. Yeah, it's a fun movie for sure. It's definitely weird though, so you have to be in the right headspace and not expect a normal musical.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. Yeah, for me, I had no idea what I was getting into. This is my first quote-unquote rock opera, and so I was, but I could kind of sense the theme of how everything was going to go down at the very beginning. Like the first 5-10 minutes are just
you knew he was going to start a cult, or
oh yeah, of course. No. I'm just saying, like, what kind of movie this was going to be. Like,
there's no dialogue even. It's just
there's no dialogue. It's just instrumental type deal. And then you start to figure out the world, and I was like, okay, I am strapped in on this, or we can't change it now. So with that being said, I just accepted it for what it was, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but
that's fair.
but I wouldn't even say, I would say I liked it.
That's fair.
If I can say that.
It's like a fun watch.
Yeah, so
it's like
I
a time
think
capsule.
Even though everything is practically through song, everything is practically in a song, like almost zero dialogue. You kind of get the message. So, you get the message that he sees his dad gone, and now he is just like traumatized. And with all that being said, I think you can put the pieces together. It's not a horrible film. I think things kind of unleash the way that they should in this movie. But the pinball, I was like, okay, where is this movie going? The pinball really was like,
so
okay,
sick,
we're
dude.
going through. Yeah, so
if you can hold on for about 40 to 50 minutes, the movie gets really good for about 20 minutes, and you're like, this is the best thing I've ever seen.
No, that's the truest thing that's ever been said about this movie. No, I looked it up, and they said that this movie is like the epitome of a fever dream. Like, you just don't know really what's
dream
going
logic.
on.
Like,
yeah.
Even, I guess this kind of goes into my dislikes. I don't know if you have any more likes.
No.
Besides
Elton John. Elton John is always the like for me.
The king. No, like, dislike-wise, like, because it kind of has this dream logic, for me personally, the end does not wrap up the story they're trying to tell, I feel like. Or, like, the themes aren't explored appropriately, at least in my opinion. Like, they throw a lot at the wall, and only, like, maybe 20% of it sticks. And, like, we were talking about it earlier off pod. Like, there's these themes of, like, you know... What are you laughing about?
Off pod,
dude.
You just said that nonchalantly, like if that's like a normal thing.
It is normal. We're podcasters. We've been doing this forever now. No, but like the idea that like they're like maybe critiquing religion or something isn't really explored well, in my opinion. Like, he just runs up a mountain, and you're like, okay, that's not satisfying. It doesn't have a satisfying ending or narrative arc, in my opinion. And you don't get to know Tommy because, one, he just has no personality for the first half of the movie.
Yeah.
He does fight some bikers, though, which is sick.
I just love the hang glider. He's just...
I was like, am I watching the same movie? Like, what?
He's just on a hang glider.
Because the rest of the movie's like, I don't want to say pretty normal, but it's not that. It's not Power Rangers or whatever.
Honestly, this movie would make more sense if it was a cartoon. Like, just being honest. Like, if it was a cartoon, I'd be like, all right, this is cool. But, no, I agree with you on that. Do you have any more before I jump into mine?
No, let's hear what you got to say.
I actually think the ending is kind of left up to the viewer of of interpretation. But again, while we were talking off pod, we we kind of admitted like we wished Tommy would have explored the revenge aspect of getting back at his parents, and it's almost like he still accepts his parents even though they did this horrible thing.
They suck.
Yeah, they're just horrible people. I mean, like his mom pretty much causes him to be this way.
Hear or see. I'm like, geez, it's your fault, lady.
And then she kind of fixes him unintentionally, and they just support him all throughout the way. So a little bit weird.
They're just using him.
Yeah. But again, I would say the biggest thing is that this movie is really chaotic, and that you kind of get lost in a bit. And sometimes I wouldn't even like be paying attention to what the lyrics were saying. I would just be watching it like so confused.
Yeah, you low-key need the lyrics to understand the film. Like you need those subtitles on.
Yeah, and I guess my small critique that just really took me out at some points was what's his name's eyes. Tommy Roger Daltrey when he plays the eyes of like he's just weird, creepy type thing. Yeah, it just like is something I'm like, why is he doing that?
Speed, dude. Speed was really popular.
I guess, but yeah, so it's just like all that put together. I wouldn't say it's what made like for a really good movie. It's just really over the top. It's really over the top. The set pieces and what they're able to do for $5 million is very impressive, not gonna lie. And who they're able to get. Like, I mean, come on, Elton John in the 70s was like the biggest thing ever. So,
yeah, it's crazy.
And Tina Turner. So, but yeah, this movie is a trip. I don't know if I would recommend it to people.
I recommend it. I think like if you haven't seen this, you need to watch it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a journey.
I don't know how to explain this movie. 100% a journey. Even,
yeah. So, okay, cool. Well, I think Elton John steals the show for me.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say though, sidebar
thought
is if they just not even ended it, but if they took the different route once he gets thrown out the window through the mirror, I guess
that could have been the end.
It could have been the end. It would have been like, oh my gosh.
I might have.
Or that's the moment that they like go and he explores the revenge journey. Now he's able to voice all these things in this crazy way. The cult thing, I just could not buy into.
It was a bit.
I was just like,
it also kind of feels like, what are you trying to say? Because they take him to all these like cult figures at the beginning of the movie, and then he becomes one. I mean, maybe that is the message. I don't know.
We're just figure
it out just by explaining the plot. Oh no!
I feel like we're in a fever dream. Anyway, no, I get what you're saying. It kind of makes sense. So, okay, well, let's wrap this one up. Any last thoughts? What would you give this out of 5?
3.5, maybe.
I would give it a 3.
I'm thinking 3.5 just because, like, when I watched it, I was kind of elated a few times. Where I was like, "This is cinema." like, I don't. It's a feeling more than like a quality. I guess.
It really is. You can't. You just got to throw out all film school. When you come to this movie and just
the beans, man, the beans. I was like, this is crazy.
That was crazy. I looked it up, and the symbolism of it is insanity.
It's like selling out for like product placement, basically, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, wow. So anyway, guys, well, this movie, I believe you have to rent. I couldn't find it on anything.
Yeah, I had to rent it. I think I bought it.
Oh God. All right, guys. Well, go check out Tommy if you want. Just buyer beware. But yeah, hey guys, we have one more movie of Musical March, and then we're off onto our next month. But guys, we have a big one coming up. We got Wicked next week, so if you want to stick around, we'll be posting that next Friday. But guys, until then, if you haven't, go listen to us wherever you can find a podcast. Go watch us on YouTube. We are also on Instagram and TikTok, the Clean Slate Podcast. That's awesome. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Let us know your thoughts, and we will see you next week for another musical. Peace.
That's a Clean Slate.